Welcome to Team Swartz. My name is Sergeant First Class Swartz, and accompanied with Staff Sergeant Gorman with the 10th Mountain. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hello, Staff Sergeant Gorman. I've been in the Army for about 8 years. I'm a critical care flight paramedic with the 10th Cab, 10th Mountain Division up at Fort Drum, New York.
My recruiter told me a lie.
My recruiter told me a lie.
They're gonna be airborne and jump and fly.
I'm gonna be airborne, jump and fly.
I ought to sign my name on a dotted line.
Again, like I said, my name is Staff Sergeant Gorman. I'm a critical care flight paramedic, 10th Mountain Division, 10th Cab up at Fort Drum, New York. I'm going to show you a little bit about the HH-60 Mike Blackhawks, our medevac aircraft that we use up there. We have capabilities to transport up to 6 litter patients, 6 ambulatory patients, or a combination of 3 ambulatory and 3 litter patients at a time. We are staffed by 2 pilots, either commissioned officers or warrant officers, and we're also staffed by 2 crew members, non-rated crew members, one being a 15 Tango crew chief, the other being a 68 Whiskey Fox 2 flight medic. We have the capabilities to perform several different advanced interventions in the air, the same that we can perform on the ground while in flight. We do fly only with 1 medical asset on board at any given time, so we prefer to have most of our interventions performed on the ground, but we do have capabilities to perform them on aircraft as well. On board, if you want to come take a look here, on board we've got our setup established with 3 ambulatory patients on the left and then litter patient configuration on the right. These litter pans here on the right that you see will rise up and then create more room for 2 more litter patients below. We've got onboard oxygen generation capabilities that we can give oxygen to our patients. Again, 3 for our 3 litter patients here. We've also got an additional port where we can add to supply more oxygen if needed. We've got onboard suction capabilities, 1 for each patient on this side as well, and it mirrors on the other side. Our platforms raise and lower from 2 different locations, one here and then back here on this control panel. This is our crew control panel. We can adjust our lighting back there as well, and then we can also perform emergency stops to our litter pan system in case we have a runaway litter. Let's see, we've also got onboard AC power. If we need to power any of our electronics, we can plug them in here. And again, it mirrors on both sides, so all the capabilities here you see you have on the other side as well. And then the bread and butter, what we love to show off is our hoist capabilities. We have an external mounted hoist. We have 300 feet of cable, 290 feet usable, and we have a weight capacity or limit of 600 pounds. So we can hoist 2 people at a time, 1 flight medic and then 1 patient. Either in a sitting position on a rescue seat, which we have here,
Okay.
or on a rescue litter, what we call a sked. So our patients can be hoisted either awake, conscious, and alert, or they can be hoisted unresponsive, unconscious. Our crew chief actually operates the hoist for us with the crew pennant right here. But if for some reason the crew pennant fails or the crew chief becomes incapacitated, our pilots can actually operate the hoist as well. We have remote capabilities to talk to our pilots when we're outside of the aircraft. With our EWA system in here, it's a wireless headset system that we can use. We can also supply those to passengers if we take passengers so they can hear the crew traffic and prevent any hearing loss. We can fly just as fast as normal Blackhawks. We have very few limits when it comes to the maneuvers that Blackhawks can make. Just because we're a medevac doesn't restrict us on our maneuvers. We can actually fly just about the same. It all really depends on our patient status, of course. If the patient can't handle that, we definitely don't want to hurt them, but
Yeah, of course.
we can still outmaneuver and evade if we need to, if need be. But that's really about it. That's our bread and butter
Sweet.
of the medevac.
How long have you been doing this?
Oh, I've been doing this for about 1.5 years.
Okay.
I started, I went to flight medic school in 2016.
Okay.
And then I got here to Fort Drum last June, actually. So I've been stationed here since 2017.
Now, you were 68 Whiskey.
Yes, sir. I actually worked on the ground. I was a 68 Whiskey. Started in a Medco, or a Charlie company, medical company out at Fort Bliss, Texas.
Oh, wow.
I did that for about 3 years, and then I worked in a hospital at Fort Stewart for
okay.
a couple of years, about 2 years there. Well, 2.5.
What made you go flight?
I'm not gonna lie, I love to fly. It's an adrenaline rush. Flying is it's very exciting. It's fun. I will say that being a flight medic, about 90% of our duties is actually crew duties. So we crew the aircraft more than we do medicine, but having the additional skills to be the medic in the back, it pays for itself, you know, when we have to actually apply it. But the majority of our time is actually spent crewing the aircraft.
Right.
So we are considered a non-rated crew member when it comes to flying. We're responsible for clearing the airspace. We're responsible for, you know, making sure our pilots can safely function, safely maneuver the aircraft, clear them of obstacles, and we help with startup and shutdown procedures, etc.
Cool. It looks neat.
Yeah,
I've only flown twice.
It's fun. It's a fun ride. It's fun to fly in. It's not overtly comfortable, but you know, it's still fun. It's exhilarating, especially when we can fly with the doors open. If we fly low and slow, we can open the doors up and get a good view.
Now, being on active duty, you probably ran into a lot of incidences on base in Fort Drum.
We do actually provide installation medevac coverage at Fort Drum. I personally have not had to treat any patients, thankfully, up there.
Yep.
I have been called to a couple of search and rescue missions, one for a soldier and then the other for a civilian off post. So we did a mutual aid assistance.
Oh, nice.
Thankfully, both times the patient or the person was found. So it was a successful mission both times.
Nice.
And they were found, thankfully, unharmed, uninjured.
That's great.
Yeah, but we do have some medics that have had to actually transport patients to the hospital. It's a dangerous world out there, even when you're in a controlled environment of a range where, you know, you have all the safety procedures in place. Sometimes accidents happen and people get hurt, and that's what we're here for. So we're happy to provide the medevac coverage for the installation, and we hope that you don't have to use us. That's our slogan.
Totally agree. That's great.